Hi guys, my name is Six. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about how to become confident.
Over the neck. My mama wish I would have went corporate, she wish I would have went exec. I still turn to a CEO, so the lifestyle she respect. Hey, 2 sprints to Quebec.
So this topic came to my mind because it is one of my most frequently asked questions. Since how are you so confident? How did you become so confident? All of these different things for years, and for the longest time, I did not know how to answer that question. I think I can now articulate exactly how I became this way so that I could share it with others. First things first, I came out the womb knowing that I was that girl, feeling like that girl. I was super in love with myself from a little kid. And I used to get my hair done and run straight to the mirror and like look at myself and be like, ooh, like so pretty. I used to just think the world of me. And it wasn't until life started happening, I started experiencing more things that like diminished the way that I felt about myself. And now that I'm older, I can put words to that. Basically, other people's influence, the way that people felt about me, I started taking those impressions and then started diminishing my light, so on and so forth. I would say when I turned 18 or 19 is when I started to become really intentional about my confidence. And confidence, number one, is I believe a two-part thing. So the first part of confidence is your outward confidence, and then there's inward confidence. So in my earlier 20s, I was really like focused on my outward confidence and like looking good, feeling good, making sure that like the way that I show up encapsulated what I wanted, how I wanted for people to perceive me. So when it comes to outer confidence, the emphasis is outward. So how you look, how you feel, is your hair done, is your nails done, like all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of people will tell you that that kind of stuff doesn't matter, but it actually does, because if you look good, you feel good. When I was in high school, I won best dressed. I've always been a fashion girl, and I felt like I wasn't attractive. So like, I was like, one thing that people can say about me, you could not think I'm attractive, but you can't say I don't dress good, right? And also I've always been a heavier girl. So like finding fits and like clothing and stuff that like fit me, just made me look and feel good, was really important to me. I was very cognizant of like how I wanted to show up in the world. So like I took the time to really hone in on what I wanted to look and feel like, and even like down to my hair and things. And I would say it wasn't until recently, like until like I hit 30, where I was just like, okay, this is how I like my hair, this is how I like my nails to be done. Like I started to really take an inventory of all these different things that I tried. So if you are someone who is in your 20s, the number one tip for confidence would be try things on. Try things on, see how you feel when you put things on, see how it feels when you go out into the world, and how like your energy, it bounces off of other people, and really take inventory of those things, because the collection of that data is going to help you show up as your most confident self. When you walk into a room and you know your outfit hits, you know that it fits really well, you know that like nobody can really say anything because she walked in here like she was that girl. It transcends farther than what you could think. It's not just this like small moment in time. When it comes to inner confidence, the number one thing that you need to nail down is your self-concept. Like, who am I? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? All of those things really, really matter, because if in your mind you don't think that you are who you want to be, then no one else can actually believe it. So it really starts with like who you say that you want to be, who you believe yourself to be. And sometimes when we come into the world, like that perception is cultivated based on the people that are around us. But in other cases, like for me, when I grew up, I knew that I was just like, there was something about me. I used to look at myself in the mirror and be like, I really was in love, enthralled with who I saw. But at the same token, the world outside me did not reflect that. But I think that like I've always had this like deep rooted inner confidence that's shown even when my outer perception of me was jaded. When you don't have the strongest self-concept, then that's the first thing that you need to work on, because you need to be so grounded in who you are, who you want to be, that no one outside you can tell you anything. I always wanted to show up as this powerful woman, this woman who is confident, someone who loves herself, all of those things. So I've always had that really on the inside of me. And more recently, when I felt like that wasn't who I was just really questioning, where did that come from? And then I realized that it was a bunch of different people in my life, but those people don't love themselves. So I had to take away the weight that I was applying to anyone outside of me, put that back in myself, and be like, okay, I am who I am. God said that I am who I am, and find solace in the fact that, like, number one, I was created in his image, and number two, it's so beautiful to not be like anybody else. And I think that the world that we live in tries to tell us that we need to assimilate, we need to be like other people, all these different things. That is farthest from the truth. Who you are at your core is enough. Who you are intrinsically, the things that you like, your hobbies, your interests, all of those things are different than other people's. For the longest time, I felt like I couldn't be me. And that was probably one of my biggest battles growing up, was like feeling like who I was, what I liked was wrong. And it's because I've always had like finer taste, and I don't come from the finest of circumstances. And I always felt like I had to have an answer as to why I liked what I liked. But then I hit a point where I was just like, listen, I gravitate towards these things because that is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, that's the life that I'm meant to live. And I had to find comfort in that. I had to find comfort in the fact that, like, my lane is my lane. The person next to me, their lane is their lane. And if we happen to like the same things, cool. But if we don't, there's nothing wrong with it, because that person is unique and beautiful in their own way. So I think really conceptualizing and allowing that truth to really stick in with you helps you to be comfortable with the things that come to you, helps you to be comfortable with the desires that bubble up inside of you, because all of these things energetically make up who you are. And confidence comes with practicing. You know, like, I used to look in the mirror when I was like very self-conscious about my body. I used to look in the mirror at myself naked, and I would tell myself, girl, you look the fuck good. Okay, you're not where you want to be, but you're farther than where you used to be. I even tell myself that to this day. Like, I look at myself and I'm like, girl, you look good. Okay, at first, I'm not gonna hold you, it was not true. That's not what I felt. That's not how I felt about myself. But over time, the repetition, it's just like anything else. Confidence is a muscle. You have to keep on doing it. You have to keep on saying it, because you have to fight past the cringiness of bigging yourself up, because we live in a world that tells you not to do that. It tells you that you need to be humble. It tells you that you need to be this way. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want to be boastful. You don't want to be arrogant, but you do want to feel a way about yourself, because again, you were created in God's image. There's a reverence that you need to have for yourself, because other people outside of you are going to look at you and be like, and you know those people who, like, they just have an air about them, a confidence about them? It's because they're confident in what God already gave them. So you have to really tell yourself, like, I am this, I am that. Affirm yourself. Like, I used to be like, girl, you're a knockout. You're beautiful. You're all of these things, despite what people around me were saying. And eventually, like, I started getting people that did not know me from a can of paint being like, I love how you just show up in the world. I started to attract the energy that I was practicing. And then eventually it got cemented in who I truly am. And so now I'm a conduit of that kind of energy. And then I now even more so just attract really beautiful, really nice people. One thing I will tell you is that when you start to feel yourself, when you start to get comfortable in your own skin, when you start to really not only have confidence, but showcase confidence, you are going to probably experience people calling you cocky, people calling you arrogant. Because I remember when I started to be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna feel myself, I'm not gonna play safe, I'm not gonna play small. People were like, girl, you are so conceited, you think you're all that, you think you're this, and you think you're that. And back then I used to be like, that is not what I think of myself. Like, I'm just doing this for me. But now as an adult, I literally had this conversation with my mom. I had to tell her, like, anything that I do is not for you or anyone outside of me. I do it for me so that I can keep going. And if you are making comments about how I show up in the world, it's because I'm triggering something inside you that needs to show up in that same way. So if anybody has anything to say about the way that you show up, the confidence that you have within yourself, it's because you have now triggered them in a way that they feel makes them inadequate. And it's like, that has nothing to do with you at the end of the day. So to be confident is to be sure. To be confident is to practice who it is that you want to be. Speak that life over yourself, because if you don't speak life over yourself, nobody else will. If you don't speak life over yourself, you're not going to attract the people that can pour into you in that same way. Now, I have gone through so many friends and even family members who were in my life at one time and now are no longer in my life because they don't really fit the bill of where I'm going. But the people that I'm meeting now, the people that are currently in my life, are people who see the light in me and speak that light over myself, and it's a positive exchange of energy. And so overall, confidence is truly practicing who it is that you say that you want to be, showing up as her, and essentially doing the work to unlearn and relearn why it is that you feel the way that you feel about yourself. Because there's a root, and if you don't get to the root, that is your downfall. Like, I really had to get down to the root of why I felt the way that I felt about myself. And a lot of it was lies and misperceptions of what was happening in my childhood. And I'm so glad that I allowed myself to be free from that and unlearn, because it helped make sense of the whole journey of my life. And now I can, like, in my 30s, I'm able to show up and be me and be audacious and all of these different things. The woman that I wanted to be, I can be her in totality now, because I went back and dug up those roots and unlearned all of the things that made me feel inadequate or made me feel like I couldn't be confident. So I hope this video helped you. I hope that it gave you all the tools and tips that you needed to become your most confident self. And if there's anything else that I can share with you guys, please comment below and let me know. I think that we might dive deeper on other topics associated with this, such as self-love and just like really pouring into ourselves and just building ourselves up, and imposter syndrome, all of that kind of stuff. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.